everybody. Okay, thank you all so much for being here, making it through the day. I know that, as always, it's you always get to this time of day and things get a little bit tiring, so we really appreciate your energy and hopefully some of the questions that you can also bring to our final panel of the day. But before we get to that panel, we're lucky enough to be joined by Ben Sorensen, who is going to help get our rover to the moon. So if you don't know Ben, he is the Mission and Consortium Director for the Roover mission, Australia's first lunar rover, which, as you all know, will be designed, built and operated by a national consortium made up of industry, research and government partners, and of course supported by the Australian Space Agency. Through this project, the ELO2 Consortium is helping shape Australia's future in space exploration, and it's creating critical technologies along the way. Technologies that we can leverage here on Earth, advancing cutting-edge capabilities in robotics, AI, machine learning, autonomous systems, cyber and more, while of course strengthening our sovereign space capabilities here at home, which has been a big topic of discussion today. Ben brings deep experience across national security, science and innovation, and he has some updates for us. And as we were just chatting, it's been 7 months now since the consortium was awarded, so this is a really great opportunity to check in and see what's happening with our Roover. So please join me in welcoming Ben Sorensen to the stage.
And thanks for staying awake for us at 4:45 this afternoon. So yes, it's been just over 7 months since the ELO2 Consortium was awarded the Stage 2 opportunity to undertake the national mission of the Roover mission. Australia's going to the moon. So imagine this, later this decade, about 384,000 kilometres from here, further than almost anything else from Australia will have travelled, a small 20-kilogram Earth weight rover, about this big, will roll off of a lander down onto the regolith on the lunar South Pole, and it's going to be emblazoned with the Australian flag and the Australian-made symbol. And this will be a huge achievement for Australia and for the wonderful privilege that I have of leading the ELO2 Consortium and 100 or so almost people that will have contributed to that success from here in Australia. Our mission is to demonstrate the remote operation of an Australian designed and made lunar rover on the moon, operated from an Australian Remote Operations Centre. So we've already done a lot of work. We first started Stage 1. That was, I think we were awarded in February 2023. And we worked through to delivery of a preliminary design in June last year. So we've already done a lot of work, a lot of design work, a lot of testing, and to win the opportunity to do this work for the country. We're building Australian capability, and with a $42 million grant from the Australian Space Agency, and our partners bringing around $12 million co-investing alongside. Around 95% of that will be spent here in Australia. So it is a true Australian mission. We're already working very closely with the Australian Space Agency and through them, their partners, NASA. And as we heard this morning, which was a nice surprise, we will also be hosting a NASA instrument as a payload on this Australian rover, which is a wonderful opportunity for us to partner with the United States and NASA and really demonstrate our extreme environment robotics capability, which Australia really is a world leader in already, and our remote operations and contributing into international partnerships. I do want to make the point, like we've currently got about 35 people working on this. We're still in the mobilisation phase, so that's a ramp up towards what's going to be about 2.5 years of fairly heavy design and engineering work, with around 90 FTEs involved over the duration of this activity. I think we're going to do better than 30 interns. We've got a long list of people that want to join, but we are still just getting started. Really importantly here, the intellectual property which we'll be designing and developing here in Australia, it stays here. It's going to stay here in Australia, and it's here for the benefit of Australia. And the job then is to really drive that and develop that and hopefully translate it into broader space industry, but our second, our third, our fourth, our fifth industries. And if we look at the Apollo program and other programs around the world, while the space investment here on Earth delivers returns to send things to space and to the moon and other places, the big benefits are often found in all of those other industries as a halo effect over time. So we're really looking forward to working with our other industry partners during the term of the mission and beyond to bring benefit to Australia. We've got a wonderful team of partners, and we're fortunate through stage one to have grown that group into stage two. We have 10 Australian universities. That's 1 in 4 Australian universities that joined, and each of them are contributing in their own way. Here in Adelaide, the University of Adelaide, the Andy Thomas Centre for Space Resources is supporting us with testing and facilities up at Roseworthy and here on North Terrace. The University of Sydney, the Australian Centre for Robotics, is helping us with path planning and other autonomy aspects. This robot will be a semi-autonomous, remotely operated robot, so it needs to keep itself safe while it's on the moon with a 7-second delay with our operators here on Earth, planning it and driving it and operating its mission. QUT in Queensland is helping us with autonomy and computer vision. The ECU over in WA is going to be helping us with cybersecurity, Tasmania with some engineering, the Australian National University helping with testing and communications, and also some novel research in laser communications. RMIT is helping us with manufacturing and testing components. Swinburne is doing some really awesome work in radiation mitigation and dust mitigation. So these are all technologies that we can use here on Earth. Monash has been helping with robotics, and Melbourne Space Lab are world leaders in thermal management and helping us to ensure that our design is fit for purpose and able to operate in those extreme environments. And I always have challenges making sure I've captured everyone in that list, but we're just so fortunate. And I'd also like to make the note that we have a wonderful technology co-lead in Lunar Outpost Oceania, based here in Melbourne, based down in Melbourne, and doing the lion's share of driving the development of our technology and helping to corral all of our partners and ensure their contributions come through. We'll also be doing a lot of work with outreach and communications and STEM, and so the Victorian Space Sciences Education Centre is developing curriculum which we can take with them and through the Hamilton Space School here that you'll see exhibiting and others, curriculum for lunar robotics to help over 20,000 teachers across the country to bring space science to senior education, to secondary education. One Giant Leap, of course, continues to do awesome work and just a wonderful, inspiring partner going out and working with kids across the country. Industry partners outside of Lunar Outpost, of course, EPE. We have one of the largest fleets of robotics in the country, field robotics and sensors. We do a lot of work with the Australian Defence Force. And so our engineering team is growing, and we're working really closely with some of those universities to see those pathways and develop those pathways for matriculation of technologies that we'll be developing together. Vipac is a great Australian company. It's been around for over 30 years, and they've been doing testing for defence and other organisations. So they'll be working very closely with us in future years to assure the technology that we're developing and that it can withstand the tough forces of launch and then operation in extreme environments. Just as a few, Titomics helping us with manufacturing of components, and of course Innovor has been helping us with understanding energy and some of those other challenges of building platforms for space. BHP looks like a strange one in there, but BHP is helping us with understanding where the opportunities are in mining industry here on Earth, and resource extraction obviously is of interest to them in the future in other other places beyond Earth. So great opportunities for us to work with some great people. You'll see one American flag on there, and that's the Colorado School of Mines, who helped us in stage one. They have unique understanding of the South Pole lunar geology and geography to help us understand different landing sites and how to design the rover to be fit for purpose for those areas. So we've done a lot of designing, prototyping, testing and iterating, of course, and so during stage one we did a lot of this to develop a design which we thought would be fit for purpose, and developed 4 different prototypes. You can see here that are on display at Roseworthy at the University of Adelaide's site up there. On the top right of the screen, what you can see is our consortium prototype, which is a representative prototype we delivered in March last year. That was it was PDF, so I've taken off the moving pictures here, but that was a remote operation demonstration with 70,000 kilometres separation. So the operators were in Colorado to a geosynchronous satellite, and then back down to rural South Australia, where we successfully operated it and did some regular sampling demonstrations in front of a crowd at the Australian Rover Challenge last year. Constraints, that's what we live with, and we are designing something to go to a place that nobody from Earth has gone, to the South Pole of the Moon. We have a mission which only needs to last during the lunar day, but it's roughly about 8 days it will be operating. Hopefully we'll be landing in a place which has some permanent sunlight on the South Pole, so there's not too many places, but there are around 6 different landing sites that we've been looking at there. And I do just say that as a pinch yourself moment, that you're looking at landing sites for the moon. It's not the sort of thing I thought I'd be doing when I was an 8-year-old kid. 40 years later, we get to do some really cool stuff here. Risks. Space is about risk, right? And so there are so many risks, and we start there and work through all of that. Obviously, launch and transit create some real challenges. We've got some great experiences from some of our partners, Lunar Outpost in the US, who recently had a Lunar Voyager 1 map rover on IM2, which did land on the South Pole. Unfortunately, it was an off-nominal landing. So there are many lessons for us through our partners around the world. Obviously, environment connectivity and operation. We're very constrained on size, weight, and power, and it's a Class D mission, so it's high risk, and we don't have much redundancy on this thing. So we need to test, and we're testing very often on component level and then through to actual prototype level at our facilities with our partners, EPE in Brisbane, RMIT, and down here in Adelaide in particular. So to stage 2. We've been running pretty hard on this already. 3 lines of effort, so everyone just knows what we're doing. The technical is obviously to design, build, and operate something which will be on the lunar South Pole. So there's a massive amount of effort goes into that. However, communications and outreach is a key part of what we have to do. We are working to try to inspire the country, and it's late in the afternoon and maybe you're not feeling the inspiration, but I'm trying to do what I can. We should start first thing in the morning for this one. But this is, and will be, a source of national pride. This is a national mission that we believe over the next few years, as we get more and more Australians involved in this, in the ways that they can be involved, beyond just our consortium partners, we can all be proud of the work that Australians are doing on this and our role contributing to the international space effort. But the main game is industry development. At the end of the day, doing this work, we are spending this money here in Australia predominantly, around 95% of it, apart from some components which we just can't get here at the right price or with the right risk tolerance. And if we are doing our work well, we are creating the pathways for younger people to go into new careers. We are building those careers for them. We're building the experiences for them. We have people in their first jobs doing this, and I feel terrible because this is such a high bar that we've got to keep on raising it somehow. And that's the challenge for us, to continue to develop the opportunities for them, and that's what my job is as consortium director, and Jared, my colleague and partner at Lunar Outpost, we are working to build that over the next few years. When we do that, and we do that well, we build the Australian space industry. But the thing with the space industry is when you invest in it, it lifts all other boats as well. It lifts all other industries. And we are working hard to make sure that we can find those translation opportunities and those other impact opportunities with other industries over the next few years. Some interesting things we've been doing. You can't read all of that, which is probably good, but we're looking at what we're doing on the way there. So we're planning our mission from launch all the way through. Don't take too many photos, thanks very much. But there's a bit of info in there. You'll see, when you zoom in on that stuff, you'll see how constrained we are on power. So 40 watts is a max on some of those things. Those of us that are old enough to remember incandescent light bulbs, we're going to run on half of that most of the time, which is amazing. We've been designing our ConOps, so when we land on the moon, what we will be doing, broken down into minutes, and understanding how does that then flow into the humans that are going to be running that mission. And I want to leave you with a bit of a picture here. This is a new design. We're currently in the middle of our preliminary design review, and as we heard this morning, we have a NASA instrument on board. So this is what our design currently looks like. We're working through this with our standing review board over the next 6 weeks. We've got partners from NASA, the Australian Space Agency, and other independent experts that help us mark our homework and help us to improve, to make sure that we're doing the best job that we can for the country on this. And it's great to see the Australian-made logo on that too. So thank you so much, and follow us along on the new website at roovermission.com.au.